Welcome back to Action 2. Of course, right as soon as I start, a big old motorcycle revs up, because this is a cool episode for cool guys.
Yeah!
Welcome back to Action Toon Bros, episode 78. Fillmore!
Fillmore!
And this is your host, Matthew Lewis, joined, as always, by...
Ben Sturgeon. And, wow.
I should have said my partner on the beat.
Yeah, partner on the beat. And I have to say, like I said the first time we watched, like when we watched episodes 1 through 3. Yeah. Wow, I don't know why I missed this show. I just got done watching these episodes, and I'm just like, why do I keep having to be reminded that I missed this show? This is friggin' great.
Yeah, it is so fascinatingly done, and it's just such a joy to watch.
Absolutely.
Did your roommates sit in with you again, or no?
No. They did their own thing.
Okay,
so,
and also I was going to ask, you always give me a little bit of own time homework-esque thing with Metalocalypse. Have you sought out any procedural cop shows outside of this one to check out yet?
I thought we already had this conversation where I don't go out of my way for them.
Yeah. You should. There's so many good ones to watch.
I mean, I bet there is.
Yeah. But as a genre, this one covers a lot of really... Also, but this one, another thing this section is going to cover a lot of is going to be movie... I don't want to say parodies or satires, but like movie, like just narrative tropes played fairly straight. I really... It's very, very fun.
It is, yeah.
There's a shit ton of cop stuff in this episode. So, you ready to get down to Fillmore, Season 1, Episodes 4 through 6?
Let's do this, buddy.
Okay, we're starting with Episode 4,
Cry, the beloved mascot.
Act 1, A Spirit
Stolen.
It is Spirit Week at X Middle School. It is Phenomatastic Spirit Week here at X Middle School. They are having a bocce ball tournament between X and Gilby.
Gilby, yeah. And then, we got like the two newscasters like, oh, so happy about Spirit Week. And then they want to get a prediction on their bocce ball tournament. That's going to be saved for later. And they get resident psychic.
Yeah.
Alistair
Greystone.
Thank you, Alistair Greystone. I forgot to write his name for some reason. But
they say, so what do you think of the bocce ball tournament? He says, I foresee disaster that's going to destroy everything. It's like a really strong New York accent.
Right, and then everyone's like looking at each other like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid?
Yeah, they just like smile to the thing. We see that the patrol squad is currently escorting Folsom on a float just across the bocce ball field. Fillmore is saying like, "Oh, just keep your eyes peeled, Ingrid. We gotta keep it out for any kind of rioters or anything like that." And then Fillmore says, "Oh my God, goat! 3:00!" And he sees a person in a goat mask with a big old pie. He takes aim and throws it. Fillmore tries to catch it, but he misses, and Ingrid ends up taking a pie for Folsom. I was say President Folsom, Principal Folsom.
Right? It's kind of easy to call her that. And so after that whole thing happened, we get to go to the kitchen where Ingrid is cleaning her face, and Fillmore is putting the pie in the fridge, and it's just like, hey, like it even says like, evidence, do not eat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and they're just talking about like, hey, that was really good. She's like, oh yeah, sure, next time maybe you should actually, take the pie next time. And apparently tonight also we find out from their talking is some kind of a dinner date that Fillmore has with his family.
It's a biannual Fillmore dinner jammy jam.
That is quite the name, dude.
Oh, yeah. And they said they're going to seafood at Papa Cracky's Crawfish Barrel. We see Fillmore at his actual house, and we actually get to see his parents. We see his mom is a doctor, and we see his dad is... Well, we don't know what his dad is yet.
Yeah, his dad is certainly there, but yeah. And, they're all excited to go to this crawfish place, and, Fillmore's got his baggy pants and everything, and the dad commemorates everything with family lobster bibs.
Yep, inscribed with the Fillmore initials. They're just like, wow, this is great, Dad. And
even the mom is like,
how about we don't?
yeah, and the mom's even like, how about we don't? And the dad's like, come on, it's family time. All right, let's go. They're not going to hold our table forever. And that's when the phone rings. And Fillmore's needed back in the office. And the dad and the mom are just like, you know what? We can reschedule this. It's fine. I mean, it looks like it could be important. So, Fillmore gets to actually leave.
So, of course, back at the school, we find out that Lopsy has been stolen. They're talking to the keeper of Lopsy, Jeannie Geary. She says that, they don't know what happened. Somebody broke in. There's no evidence of what happened. There's nothing no leads. Folsom drives in and she gives them their typical ultimatum. The bocce ball team has not lost a single game in over a decade. And this game is coming up, and this everyone will freak out if they find out that Lopsy is gone. So they have till Friday, or she'll melt their badges down, make steel-toed boots, and kick their butts from here to Kazakhstan.
Well, from here to Shanghai, no. To, I forget what the second place is. One more time.
No.
Kazakhstan? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just the fact that Folsom is played by the fucking lady who plays Ida. I can see the resemblance, and I fucking love it.
She is, and it's constantly hilarious.
So they're going down. They're breaking out the files and everything, trying to find out who would even steal this mascot anyway.
Yep, their first lead is going to be Antonia Larkin. She's known for nabbing mascots, and her brother Nicky Larkin was the pie thrower from earlier in the evening. So that's going to be their first lead. They go to their house, and they find Nicky answers the door. And he's like, oh, God, officer, what are you guys here for? You here to get me? And they're like, no, actually, we're here for your sister. He's like, what? So he's like actually surprised and shocked by that. She's like, what are you doing here, idiot? She kind of just shoves her brother out of the way, and the two of them begin to fight. As she says that she had an all-day detention, but she's a much better, pranker than he is. And they just keep saying cream pie a bunch, and it's just really weird. It's silly. But yeah,
it's just really silly, and it was like, yeah, never mind.
Okay, she's definitely out of it. Then they get a call from Tahama that tells them that the lobster food was also taken, so that's at least a good thing that whoever took Lopsy is at least feeding him.
That's always good.
Memory flash. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Sorry. For some reason, and she's like, "Wait a minute." Yeah, she's like, "Wait a minute." Yeah. Sorry. Keep going. Hold on a second. There's some bullshit going on. Keep going.
Oh, you're good. Ingrid has one of her memory flashes of the person. Brock Mason was recently kicked off the bocce ball team. She has a news article about it. They go and try to talk to him about what happened and see if he has a kind of grudge against the team, and that'll be a reason and a motive. But he says he's actually glad he got kicked off the team because now he can actually clean the balls, and he actually cleans the court, and he loves this job way better than actually playing. He also, as they are talking to him, they open his locker and they see he has a book in there saying "Caring for Your Stolen Mascot." So they give chase as he immediately tosses a bunch of bocce balls at them. They take aim with the balls and they jump into a laundry cart to chase him down. Brock hides in a dry cleaning rack, this was a fully huge conveyor belt dry cleaning system somehow, also along with everything else. He hides in a rack, and then they eventually catch him in a gigantic ex-middle school flag. Then
I'm back.
They have a little custom one-liner. Your clean getaway got a little dirty.
Yeah, and then they go to find out. They're like, all right, we're gonna see if we can find Lopsy. They open up the door to the bocce ball closet, and you find out that it's a goat. It's a goat.
Yeah, Gilby the goat.
He's like, yeah, I stole Gilby's mascot. Wait, what mascot did you think Oh no, Lopsy's been stolen. And he just runs out during Spirit Week, and he's like, we're all doomed. Lopsy's been kidnapped. Which we forgot to mention earlier. The one thing that Folsom wanted was for them to keep on the DL on this.
Yeah.
And so, knowing that this has happened, people start
ripping down tents and throwing stuff and falling into tables. It's just literally immediate chaos. And this is when we hit Act 2, a medium at large.
At large.
One of the best puns. A medium
right.
is very funny.
And of course, you know,
Folsom, as usual, is pissed.
yeah, I forget what it was. It's like, you know, hey, it kind of slipped. A slip is what a clown does on a banana peel. What I see out there is a 3-ring circus of chaos. I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Every line she has is fantastic.
Right?
It's 2 days till the game, and they have no leads. All the leads have gone dry. Folsom puts Alistair Greystone on the case, since you guys obviously need help. You're going to get some help from the resident psychic. And they're both like, are you kidding me?
They're both like, yeah, what are you talking about? So we cut to them.
First we see, Ingrid's talking to him like, hey, Fillmore, why don't you take a break? And she's like, yeah, you can go use those engraved bibs. He's like, how the hell do you know about those engraved bibs? They go to the crime scene, and then they meet Greystone.
Yep, and he's like, step aside, we're all good here. And as he's getting ready to have a vision, some regular paparazzi
before
kid
that, very important note. But he knows down to the very second how late they are because of his Pocket Comp X80 that has all of his information and how he keeps track of everything going around. It's like a BlackBerry pocket device he has that he keeps track of everything with. And then he says, "Wait, now I'm getting a vision." And that's when we see the paparazzi kid.
Yep, the paparazzi. Some paparazzi kid like, "Yeah, hey, what are you gonna do? Be another fake, huh?" Like, kind of poking fun at him.
And your fake visions, you phony.
We don't really get his name right now, do we?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, but of course, Fillmore is just
they're trying to shove him. Yeah, they're shoving him out of the way. But he says, "Hey, come on, I can report on everything Greystone does." As he kind of gets shoved into the background.
But, and then all of a sudden,
Greystone. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, Greystone's having a vision. Oh, a horrible vision. And they're like, okay, can you just spit it out? He's like, I know who took Lobster. And so they go to the editorial room, and they go to the journalism room, and they go to the editor-in-chief, who is like, look, if it's about some kind of event, I'm very busy right now. I said we'd hit. It's like, no, you took Lobster. Admit it. And the kid's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea, what on earth you're talking about. He's like, oh yeah, you don't, huh? Then check your top left drawer. He's like, okay, whatever, fine. Opens the drawer, and we find the lobster food.
Hell yeah. Oh, this kid, the editor-in-chief of the journalism club, his name is Vern Natoma. And he asked the officers before, he's like, hey, officers, can you arrest this Alistair idiot for public display of crazy before he's revealed to have the lobster food in his desk. Folsom immediately has him taken in, and he's no longer editor-in-chief of the paper anymore. So the guy's lost his position. And then,
and of course, during the questioning, he's like, what? I literally don't have any idea what's going on. And even Ingrid is like, dude, I've checked this guy's record. He's absolutely clean. So what? He would just randomly just steal a lobster out of nowhere, out of left field. And even Fillmore is like, yeah, and the way he was surprised when the lobster food was there. I think someone's trying to plant some evidence, but who?
Yeah, they point out that he has a big, obvious lobster watch on his wrist. And saying, yeah, he seems like he really loves lobster. Why would he possibly do this? And then once again, they go to some film of the actual pieing incident that happened earlier against Folsom. And you see that he is right there next to the pieing person in the crowd, so he literally had no chance to steal lobster. And of course, I did my due diligence watching the episode. I went back to the beginning, and he is, in fact, indeed, in that opening scene, sitting right behind the pie thrower, wearing his big lobster watch. So, yeah, he could not have been him either. They put their evidence together with all their skills, and they're immediately like, okay, well, obviously fucking Greystone's probably behind this shit. he's an idiot. Greystone, he's probably the framing person. So they go back to that journalist kid earlier who said that he thinks that, Alistair's a fake. He says that, yeah, since I've been put on the beat, I've been covering crappy fluff stories about, dumb, openings and, dumb little gossip stuff and nothing real stories. I want to do real newspaper work like I've always wanted to do. But he says Alistair is way too dumb to pull a crime of this scale off, so yeah, I don't think he's really behind it. And then,
of course,
I don't think they still haven't said the kid's name though. But yeah, they say they're going to follow him. They decide to follow Alistair as he's like sneaking around, and he's going to Vern Natoma's house now.
Yep, and then at the Natoma residence, Fillmore and Ingrid, like, they catch him in the act, and they're like, "Nope, you're gonna stop right now." And there's a big old chase scene, of course, like always, through like hedge animals and stuff. But at the moment, like before they get deep in the chase, Alistair's like, "I'm sorry, but I have to do this," and then like sprays himself with a sprinkler system. They go through a chase and all this. Goes to Noah's Ark apparently because symbolism, I guess. And then he eventually gets caught because Fillmore like lowers a giraffe bush head and outslides a lobster. Dun, 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 dun.
A cooked dead lobster specifically.
Yep. Thus, bringing us into
Act 3, for the
love of lobster. And of course,
they are interrogating Greystone.
Yep, and Greystone's like, "What are you talking about? The price of food is too high. I wanted to cook it," and he's like being a little twitchy about all this.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, absolutely killed Lopsy. That's what happened." And of course, as we're talking to him, Folsom is absolutely freaking out because the bocce ball game is in 1 hour. So like everything, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna make the patrol office my golf cart storage facility if you guys don't get this solved." So Ingrid, while investigating the cooked lobster, sees that as a receipt for Papa Cracky's crawfish barrel. It was a recently bought lobster. It's not actually lobster. But of course, this just triggers Fillmore to be like, "Oh my God, Papa Cracky's! I put off the goddamn dinner again because of this stupid case that we're still on."
And then, of course, after he mentions that whole thing, Ingrid's like, "Also, I kind of noticed something about this." Pulls out Alistair's pocket like blackberry thing, and she's like, "I noticed also this," and there's a message that says, "Is the live lobster in place?"
Yeah, and also it has it also has details of all of his psychic events, and this is when he finally explains that it used to be psychic, but that since his gifts left him, since he's grown a little bit older, but now he's been getting messages about crimes that are about to happen, and he's able to appear there and appear to still have his abilities. But he has been being blackmailed to place the fake lobster into Natoma's house. But they still don't know who the heck could possibly be behind this. As we cut to Harrison Post, we finally find out the kid's name. We see that it is actually the kid who says that he hates him, has been reporting on him, says he wants to be a real journalist and everything like that. So Harrison is he's actually recently made the new editor of the school newspaper now. And they see that the bocce ball game is underway currently. He's reporting on it at the stand with those two reporters from the beginning of the episode. And of course he's writing his article.
Well,
goats. Yeah.
Well, he's not writing it. He's like texting it to Alistair, kind of thing. Like, "Hey, here's your next prediction," kind of thing. And of course, Fillmore and the others get in there and they're like, "Hey, so we know it was you." And of course, in typical fashion, "What are you talking about?"
I wanted to see the actual line he was going to say. Okay, Gilby Goats bleat up X Lobsties.
Bleat up X Lobsties. That is actually kind of funny. But
but they confront him saying, "You're the one who's been..." Yeah, they confront him, and then immediately he like fires an air horn at the pair. And they have no backup, so they there's no time to call for backup. They have the game is happening in an hour, so they give chase as Greystone says he's gonna find Lobsty, while they chase Harrison Post.
So we go through the Spirit Week little fun fair that they have, and of course the Hall of Mirrors lights up, and they both enter. Meanwhile, we get we're gonna flash cut every once in a while to Alistair trying to use his psychic powers to find Lobsty. But then of course we get the whole the whole trope of, hey, you guys don't understand, I could make big with this in the fucking fun house, in the fucking house of mirrors, where it's like, which one's the real one kind of thing. And
Yeah,
they're like,
he's talking about how like he lost. Fillmore saying you've lost because you've lost the dream that you've been aiming for, and all the people you've hurt along the way. It's not going to be worth it at the end. And he's like, "You fools! This I deserve all of this." And he's giving his evil speech. But yeah, Greystone's like constantly met. I wrote in my notes. He's like met by multiple forks in the road. Like closes his eyes, put his hands to his temple. You hear like mystical music, and he just like chooses one of the paths, and he's just like. Psychically going down the correct paths to find his way to Lopsty. It's very, very funny. Ingrid and Fillmore use a giant lunar bounce to finally catch Harrison Post.
But, and then, of course, at the final fork in the road, you see him run down to the wet docks, and then we cut to how miraculously Alistair found the lobster, and because of that, spirits got back, were raised back up, and even the players were like, the bocce ball players were like, yeah, and they made a complete and utter comeback, and they won.
Yeah, they won the big game. The team says that Alistair, you're the real hero here. And he's like, oh, come on. You guys actually got the bad guy. I just found Lopsty. And he's like, no, man, you're doing great. And he said, oh, thanks, guys. Hasta la bye-bye. And this is, cut back to Fillmore, finally ready to go to Papa Cracky's with his family. They got the bibs. He has the stretch pants. Everyone's ready to head out as he gets one more call. He kind of looks to the family and says, nah, we're going to ignore it. Let's head out.
Yeah, he literally is just like, hold on, puts the phone in the drawer and is like, all right, we're good, let's go.
Yep, and that is the end of the episode.
Yeah.
A very fun one.
Really fun, really crazy. So, Matt, you obviously, I know you're going to, do your topical question of the day kind of thing, but I have a question for you first.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know this is going to sound silly, but I got to say, I really don't know this, and I really want an answer to this. What the fuck is bocce ball?
Bocce ball is a sport where I believe you hand roll the balls down a big giant court thing.
That is a brilliant description.
Yeah. It's like hand golf ball. It's like pool, or it's like pool on a big giant floor tennis mat thing. It's very weird. But speaking of bocce ball, I was gonna say, of course, speaking of bocce ball, we have to talk about Umberto Grangalia, the world champion of bocce ball. Of course, Ben, the number one bocce ball player there ever was. He won 13 world championships. He won 12 European championships and over 46 Italian championships of the bocce ball court.
Dang.
Yeah, it's I guess sometimes a beach sport. It's literally hand pool on the ground with these big giant balls. These big giant, I guess, plastic or wooden balls that you kind of hit to get points with. It has been in the Special Olympics for almost 30 years now, but has not been an actual professional Olympic sport yet. Now, I was going to ask you, Ben, what do you think about this? Do you think bocce ball should be included in the official Olympics and not just Special Olympics or private tournaments?
I mean, okay. I'm gonna describe visually what I'm doing, but it's shrugs, I guess. Question mark. I mean, again, I literally had to ask you what it was.
Actually, I was gonna say the controversial topic or whatever, but did you ever play Hogwarts Legacy?
No, I never touched the game.
Okay, there's when you're learning the Accio spell to bring stuff to you, there's a ball game that you play where you have to use it, drag the balls forward, and however much forward they get, that's how many points you get for that little section. Bocce ball kind of looks like that to me. It's like I said, it's like pool or a rolling thing where you have to roll a tiny ball into these big giant balls and get points. It looks very complicated. It looks like it's an old person sport like golf. So, but I'm sure a lot of people have fun with it. But yeah, I don't know much about it at all.
So it's just summer curling.
It's like curling without the brooms. It's just with hands, I guess, with your hands and different type of balls. But yeah, it's a very weird looking sport. And I'm glad that this has such a huge thing on the school because the school is insanely, infinitely rich and it has 1 trillion clubs in it.
Oh, too many clubs if you ask me.
Yeah. So did you guys have a school newspaper at your place, or did you have like an actual regular school paper that anyone you knew was involved with?
Well, I mean, I think we might have had a school newspaper, but mainly we had like the morning announcements kind of thing, where it was like a news kind of thing, only like on the TV rather than like on print. But if we did have a school paper, I really didn't read it that much.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say we definitely had one. I never fucking read a single page in my life. But a good friend of I think either Ed might have done. That's where a big team I started doing movie review stuff at. But another friend of ours, Roman, who's this like crazy Russian kid I've mentioned in several other things of the many crimes I've committed back in school. He did like video game reviews because he's convinced the school to let him do video game reviews in the newspaper, and now he's an actual like reporter. So it's very funny.
That's kind of funny, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the other thing main thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, obviously, given this entire episode subject matter besides bocce ball, psychic detectives. Now, I know there's a shit ton of examples. Did you ever see the show Psych?
You know, I knew you were going to bring that one up. No, I hadn't, but I do know the premise.
Yeah,
and I also know
probably my favorite procedural show that's not a Law and Order because it's really legit, very very fucking funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say it did seem like it was a comedy rather than like a serious show.
Oh, it's legit a comedy, but they're like exclusively dealing with crime, like actual real crimes, because they're actually helping real police officers with murder cases and stuff like that all the time. But it is still an utterly insanely humorous show, and like a big huge recommend for me because like that show's legit one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I watched it recently in a couple of years on Amazon, and it's very fucking humorous. Another show, did you ever watch or read The Dead Zone?
No, I have not.
Okay, you know what it's about though, right?
All I think isn't that like a Stephen King thing?
Yeah.
That's all I know about it, to be honest.
It's it's Christopher Walken. In the movie, it's Christopher Walken is like put in a coma, and then when he awakes, he keeps having these memory flashes of crimes that are about to happen, and so he like starts actually helping the police like try to find killers and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it culminates in a really crazy way. But like, he's actually has psychic powers, and he's actually helping the police officers actually like stop crimes and shit like that. You see the South Park episode that's a spoof of The Dead Zone.
I don't watch South Park as often anymore.
Not anymore. The episode.
Oh wait, question though. Question.
Yeah.
The episode you're talking about, is that the one where they're trying to find the candy ticket so they can get all that candy?
Maybe. It's like Cartman gets hit in the head, goes in a coma. They put that beard on him, and then he like has psychic powers, and he has that battle with all the other psychics that are helping the police.
Oh, then no, no, I don't.
It's an old episode. It's way old. Another crazy ass great one. Have you played Disco Elysium yet?
No, I have not.
Oh my god, the amount of like voices and intuitions that Harry has, like some of them count as psychic intuitions. That's one of the forms of cop you can be in that game, and it's that game is one of the most insanely intricate, amazingly written, literally like multiple novels length as written like game. It's fantastic. Incredibly humorous, incredibly dark, incredibly just all different forms. That game is like all types of genres.
I'll look into it, and if it's something that interests me, I won't like watch a full playthrough of it.
Yeah, or if you watch it, like it's like instead. Do you know what the actual like conceit of the game is at all?
The actual what?
The conceit of the game, like what the actual like the gameplay is and the story or anything like that.
No, I don't actually.
Okay, it's like what if you were a cop, like with D&D stats, but every single one of your skills or stats is actually like a voice in your head talking to you. Like an actual thing that communicates with you and tries to give you intuition and hints and clues and stuff is like all of your different D&D stats, and it's fantastic. You can be like a crazy drug addict who like doesn't do anything good. You can be a super detective. You can be like all these crazy, really far out political stances. It's a really fantastic game. It's like a biggest recommend. But yeah, there's like pseudo psychic stuff, and it's also like a pseudo fantasy world as well. I'm not gonna say much more, but it's worth it checking out.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, another, of course, I got to go the anime route to Yu Yu Hakusho, Spirit Detective.
Okay, that one I do. That one I liked.
Hell yeah, fighting ghosts and ghouls and goblins. Did you ever finish the show?
No. Like it was one of those shows on Toonami, so I only got to see like up to a certain point, and then I just like either I stopped watching it or something happened. I can't remember. Yeah, but I do remember. I do remember liking the show. But if we're gonna go the anime route, Detective Conan.
Hell yes, I love Conan,
dude. It's not so much a psychic detective one, but I do like. I do like. There's a lot of
supernatural stuff in it.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah. So I mean, like I figured that you would like that one. I had a feeling you would like that one.
Oh yeah, it's also like still running to this day, and still it has movies coming out like this year and shit. No joke.
Damn, I thought it stopped.
No, it's still going, and like I literally think either this year or last year, like a new movie came out, and it was like the highest grossing movie in Japan for a while or some shit. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, Detective Conan's awesome. We should probably do one of those movies or something like that for the podcast for a special episode. Who knows?
Maybe so. Yeah.
But are you ready for the next episode?
What, you mean season 1 episode 5 of Fillmore?
Red
Robins don't fly. Act 1 to protect and observe. We start off in like a I forget what this is. It's kind of like a ball court thing, and we see Fillmore. Handball. Okay, and we see Fillmore talking to someone in a very believable accent. Like,
you got this stuff, man?
Do you have this stuff, man? And this kid who is, I forget what the kid's name is, but he's like, yeah, I have the counterfeit tickets right here. They'll rue the day that they didn't choose me for the lead part. Me. They say that and he's overacting. The more he talks.
Do you see the play that they're doing? The play that the tickets.
What was the play?
The play is Lease.
Oh my god. Are you serious? It was Lease.
They fired me. They said I was an overactor.
Yeah, and of course Fillmore's like, and then Fillmore like takes a look at him, and then he drops the accent, and he's just like, yeah, sorry. I don't think this is gonna happen anyway. I don't think this is gonna work out. Wait a minute. Your believable accent. Who are you? Who are you? He's like, he just holds up the badge. He's like, safety patrol. You're coming with me. And of course, he starts running because they always run. And as he's running, he's like, Ingrid, he's coming your way. She's like, yeah, I'm on him. She's like chasing him on a dock where we see like this couple, I guess.
I think just members of the paddleboard club.
Well, because like they're holding hands and talking to each other.
Yeah.
And one of them is like
kid.
And one of them looks like the rich kid who has like the sailor cap and like the blue long jacket. and we see this actor kid just jump into a swan-shaped paddle boat and just breaks a hole in it. And the fucking captain kid is just like, young man, this paddle boat belongs to the paddle boat committee. I'm like,
yeah, this swan sloop is owned by the paddle boat club.
Yeah, I'm just like, really? And then the other girl who has no speaking lines, and of course, it's just like, oh no, woe is me kind of thing. And Ingrid's just like, dude, just take my hand, hurry. And as he grabs her hand, he's like, don't let go. And Ingrid's like, wow, okay, wow, like, that's a cliche. And then it's like she tries to pull him up, but they both fall in.
Yep. Like, she pulls him on shore. It's like, you're paying for my dry cleaning, you dickhead.
Well, it's like my boots, the dry cleaning, the paddle boat. Yeah, you got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah, and he says, well, at least I'm not some weirdo, freaky goober loser. As he like says,
and she's like, and for the first time, she actually gets like a threatening tone where she's like, I can just put you back in the lake, Since apparently one of the things he overreacted about was he can't swim. And then we see some Peg Leg Kid and 2 other fishers, and this kid's
Alvery Clipper.
Avery Clipper.
Alvery Clipper, and he's reeling in old Nicodemus for the fishing club.
I fucking love these names, and he even has the fisherman like yar. I be getting this kind of pirate accent, and when he
be old Nicodemus, I'm going to reel him in.
But the thing is he reels up not old Nicodemus. In fact, he doesn't even reel up a fish. He reels up a pallet that is wrapped, and when it's revealed, it's band candy. It's a stash of band candy, and even the fisher is just like, "Yar, this not be old Nicodemus. This be band candy. Don't worry, old Nicodemus. I will get you yet." Shakes his peg leg. It falls off. It falls off. He actually has another foot, and they just walk away.
Oh, this show's fucking hilarious.
I love this show so much.
Yeah, finally get to see the kids actually in class, as we see Jenna is handing out something for her invites to her bi-monthly Jammy Jam. She's inviting all of the students, and then when she gets to Ingrid, she's like, "Oh, sorry, Ingrid, you're still a little too new." But it's actually this other kid's turn. We see this nerdy kid in glasses. This is what I didn't get his name, but like he's like, "Oh my god, this is such an honor." He stands up and gives a speech like, "I just want to thank Jenna. I want to thank everyone here for now that I'm not the newest student, and I can finally be invited to this party." And like, you see kind of Ingrid kind of look around like, "Okay, this is weird."
Yeah, right. And I mean, but yeah, because apparently, according to Jenna, it's like a seniority based thing. And by the way, one of the things that the theater kid was going to have to pay for that Ingrid said was walkie-talkies, because we get back to like the actual like safety patrol office where like there's 2 duck walkie-talkies, which are the backup walkie-talkies.
Tahama gives Fillmore and Ingrid their new duck walkie-talkies. Yep.
And Fillmore's like, "Yeah, these are fun and all, but hey, look at these." Holds up like a catalog with like really nice walkie-talkies, and he's like,
Master 3000s is the name of it.
Right, and of course Ingrid's like, "You're never gonna get him to sign off on this." He's like, "Don't worry, I got a plan." And the fucking chief is like, "You two, come on in. It's time for our briefing."
Yeah, Filmer kind of starts like sweet talking Vallejo, the chief, and he's kind of like, "Hey man, is that a new shirt? What's that over there?" And he's kind of like knocks over a big board and stops her from hitting him. He's like, "Oh man, you okay? Oh, you don't know what?" He's like sweet talking and really like distracted talking to him. He's like, "Hey, sign this thing for the
and
new,
even like even pulls
report."
out even pulls out like a fucking card. Like, "Is this your card?" Like starts off with that. He's like really confusing him. He's like, "Hey, you want to sign this? What was it? What kind of form was it?"
It was a communications report, something like that.
Yeah, communications report, and he signs it just like dumbfounded, like, what the fuck is going on? And of course, we all know what really happened. But now
he's finally done it, gives him the briefing on what's going on.
And apparently today it's Girl Scouts, or in this case, Red Robins.
Yep, the school's Red Robin chapter, they are known to have strong-armed all the other clubs out of their candy sales in the past several years. The case of banned candy is actually a clue, but this case is actually over 10 years old. So they've been, dumping candy and screwing over other people for that long. They say that they have some kind of system for storing all the evidence of their ill-gotten deals, but there's no way to possibly get it. The only way that they can is to have an undercover officer. Now, they say, "Tahama, can you do this?" And she says, "Sorry, they know me because my patrol is in J building, which is where they mainly hang out, so I can't." And then another girl's like, "I can't do it because I can't have taffy." She's like, because she has like giant braces on. And Ingrid's like, I'll do it, Vallejo. And then he's like,
"Well, no, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Before we get there, who's the redhead again? The fucking jokester." Yeah, I thought the jokester had a name.
Oh, no. O'Farrell. Yeah,
O'Farrell. It's like, "O'Farrell, just, no, you can't be a part of this. You're not a girl." And we see O'Farrell with, like, a wig, a hat, and, like, a dress and everything. He's like, "I already got the costume. What am I going to do with this wig?" A lot of things. Ingrid, are you sure you can handle this? I mean, you are kind of new to the team. And Fillmore's like, "Look, she's new, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got this."
Yeah.
And so we cut to the playground.
Yep, Ingrid approaches 3 Red Robins as they are kind of hanging out by a swing. It's like, hey, the swing's booked up all day. You can, come here. It's a short brown-haired girl and then 2 redhead twins. The twin members say, okay, well, you have to, prove that you know our ingredients. And so she, mathematically from the top lists all the ingredients inside the Red Robin's candy because she's that much of a, badass. They say, okay, well, you know that much, but we're going to meet our leader, Malika. She's the one who's going to be able to get you in or not. As they enter, see Malika's busy on a call, ordering some candy or making some kind of illicit deal. As Ingrid talks to Malika, she gets another test where she has to go and deface the Pioneer Lasses American Jaybird Rose Society and takes them. They've been taking their territory, so they need to they need to anagram their pancake sale to get back at them and show that she's willing to do bad stuff to stay on the team.
Yep,
she
and then
the pancake sale to, you see what it changed it to?
Oh yeah, this one I did because it's just like, wow. So it's Candy Joe's Pioneer Lasses Freaks Bake Tan Caps.
And they're like, no, and then see the girls all run off, and then we see the actual American Jaybird Society just like, no, oh my god, they're freaking out. And this is when we get to Act 2.
Charmed and dangerous. So
Back
we see we're at the handball thing, and we see Ingrid getting chased by Fillmore. And, she's doing cartwheels and stuff, and he's getting pelted by balls. But we see that she gets caught, air quote, caught by the safety committee. And so, they actually get back to headquarters, and, Fillmore's like, dang, I didn't know you were athletic like that. And she's like, well, yeah, I had to make it believable. Had to make sure that they didn't, catch on that I'm actually with you guys kind of thing. And it's like, all right, so what did you find out? Have you found out where this vault is? She's like, not yet, but I'm getting close kind of thing. And she's trying to to talk about how everything that's in there, but she hasn't seen anything for a vault.
Yeah, they have a smoothie bar, they have massage chairs, they have a shit ton of money, which is more than any other club practically from all their crazy deals. And she's like, did I mention that they have a smoothie bar? It's insane how much they have.
Yeah, right. And she seems a bit dreamy as she's talking to them about this. And Vallejo is just looking at her kind of are you sure about this? You sure you're good with this? And she's like, yeah. She looks at the time and she goes, hey, I gotta go. I don't want them to I don't want to draw suspicion. And
and this when Vallejo lets Fillmore know that he's beginning to be concerned that she's getting too deep into this. But Fillmore says he believes in her, so don't worry, Vallejo, she's got this. The girls,
we see the Red Robin girls with a welcome home Ingrid thing. It's just wait,
big old signs.
Yeah, what are you guys doing? Well, I got caught, Yeah, but you didn't rat us out, did you? No, of course not. See, good. Here, come with us, kind of thing.
Yeah, she's surprised that they actually had her back, and they're probably happy to see her. They go to see Malika, and she's actually threw her a giant party and give her a tiara for the actual successful dodging of the safety patrol. As they begin to talk, they begin to talk about what their crazy work that they do, all the corruption that they've been committing so far, as they're kind of dragging her more and more into it. But before they do, they're going to take a big old group photo of everyone being friends. We cut to them now in J building, talking about this is the main building that they run. As they're going down the hall, they see that nerd kid who was invited to the Jammy Jam earlier, and he is selling some kind of sparkling wrapping paper.
Yep, and of course they're like, hey, this is our turf. You're not allowed to be here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'll leave. Don't worry. I won't say anything. He kind of freaks out, and she's like, that's not good. That's not good enough. Looks at Ingrid, do the honors. And they start videotaping Ingrid wrapping up this kid in fucking sparkly pink wrapping paper. And she's like, yeah. And the head girl is like, yeah, see, I knew you had a future with us. We're a team, right? And of course, Ingrid puts the bow on it all. And Vallejo and Fillmore are watching this from a distance. And Vallejo brings in Fillmore. Is like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not liking how this is looking. And of course Fillmore's like, look, she's new, but she's not going to cave in. And Vallejo talks about, hey, look, here's why I'm worried. I had this same situation happen before. We had
Before that, though, he mentioned the real reason he's concerned. He's like, I'm not just concerned that she's new; it's that she's different. She doesn't have a real crew outside of the safety patrol. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She's not very social, and this group is really inviting her in. And so, like, yeah, and then he goes on to how, he's been through this before, and with a very similar.
Yeah, he's been through it all. Like, it's like, there was someone who was different, who did this exact same thing, because we've been all like, this has been an issue for a while now. But unlike, what you think Ingrid's gonna do, this girl actually like just joined up and quit the safety committee. I tried to talk her out of it, but nothing. I got nothing from it. So look. I get it, Fillmore. You trust her, but I don't know. I don't trust what's going on, man.
Yep, and
I don't want it to happen
he
again.
Tells Fillmore that we actually learned that this is Malika, who was actually who was his former partner who joined the Red Robins. Now this is when we finally get to
Act 3. A bond broken.
Fillmore says no, he trusts her. He's going to put his faith in Ingrid to continue to do this. But the chief says even if Malika was smart, she was in all these sorts of clubs. She was, unlike Ingrid, she was actually involved in a lot of clubs along with being smart. She was in the AV club. She was in the Unicycle Society. But now she quit all of them, including the Safety Patrol, and only does the Red Robins. This is when Ingrid tries to talk to Fillmore as she sees him at the water fountain for some kind of meeting that they had planned, but Malika interrupts and drags her away. She says that she'll be graduating soon and the Red Robins are going to need a new leader, and she wants that leader to be Ingrid. And of course she says
she can't do it. She can't just get the thing and that's it. No. She's got one final test. Ingrid has to find the vault. Gives her a key and says, "This is the only clue I can give you. Let's go." Good luck.
Oh, and a VHS of their time together.
Oh yeah, and a VHS of their time together. Yep. And so Ingrid is looking at watches the video a little bit and likes the memories that they had. And so she tries.
As she leaves with Malika, we see that Fillmore's checking his watch because she was supposed to be meeting with him at that point, and she's like ditching on a meeting, which is making Fillmore nervous now. And then she goes home and watches the videotape. Yep.
Yep, goes home and watches the video. You see her trying a few keys out, trying a few doors. Nothing's happening really, and so she's like, Ingrid's kind of confused as to what's going on, kind of thing. But and then one of the things in the video is Malika hey Ingrid, look, I'm just really happy that you joined us and everything. It wouldn't have been the same without you. Kind of message. But as she
also, did you notice
rewatches
in that video? Yeah, you're about to say the different part. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before she goes to watch the video again, she she's standing at a bus stop, failed to find the vault, and Fillmore's hey, we good still? Are you gonna he's voicing his concern for Ingrid, and she just kind of leaves with nothing said, kind of thing.
Yeah, and he just gets on the bus and leaves, and then he gets a call for a pie fight happening in the cafeteria. He says, "I'll be there, but I don't think Ingrid's coming along with me." And that's when we see
as she's watching the video again, she gets to the part where Malika's giving her personal message, and that's when she's like, "Wait a minute, hold on a second." Pauses the video, looks, XAV Club. Oh, so she goes to the AV room, tries the key on all of the different lockers, nothing happens. She looks at a bookcase, and she's like, hold on a second. Moves it, you find a door, and she unlocks it, and it opens up, and she finds the vault. She goes to call she goes to call Fillmore, and doesn't. She just hangs up, and then walks over, and walks over to her house, and finds that the walkie-talkies are delivered now.
Yeah, a gift from Fillmore, it says.
Yep.
This is when she chooses to return to the Red Robins Club, and she says to Malika, I found the vault, but I have to come clean with you. I'm a patrol officer. Malika says, yeah, you're not so different, you and I.
We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah, I was also an officer, but I left all that behind. You can be with us. We're a better group. We care about you. And she says it's not about the massage chairs or the smoothie machines. It's about family.
God damn it.
She asked Malika, I understand, but can you please just come quietly? And she says, well, no, of course not. She flees, as always.
And of course,
try to stop her, but she just grabs the smoothie spray thing, which I mentioned before, the smoothie bar, and sprays down everybody and escapes. Malika steals a kid's bike and takes off riding down the street.
And of course, Fillmore. Yep. We finally get her calling Fillmore like, "Hey, I need backup." And of course, Fillmore like does his little smirk thing that he always does. Meanwhile, at the pool, Malika's driving her tricycle, and Fillmore tries to like catch her with like the floaty like volleyball net.
Noodle.
But Malika slams into like a bunch of floaties, which is now when. I can't believe I'm saying this. Fillmore throws a pool noodle in between the spokes of the tricycle, causing her to go into the pool, and then her getting stopped by Ingrid.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I had to say that.
And then we go back to the school. We see Jenna is having her another hair braiding party this time. Ingrid's like, oh, Ingrid, you're still kind of new. But then we see that nerd guy with glasses. He's like, oh, she can have my spot. Please, just let her have it. He's like still like in a cast and beaten up from the mission. And she says, actually, I was going to say you're too new, but since it's a girls only, you're invited regardless. So come on, Ingrid. And she's like, actually, sorry, unfortunately, I have other plans. He's like, what other plans could you possibly have?
And what does she do? She's playing poker with the boys.
Hell yeah, with the other officers. We see that her dad made some burgers, and we see that O'Farrell is eating 20-year-old cookie dough from the bust from earlier in the episode.
And of course, Vallejo's like, are you sure you should be eating that? And even Ingrid's like, look, all these ingredients, like, lists them, and he's like, okay, you can stop that now. And she's like, look, this thing is going to outlast even us. It's fine.
Yep. She just eats a bunch of it. They get a call on their new fancy walkie-talkies, and Vallejo's like, oh, hey, where'd you get those things from? Those look incredibly expensive. And he's like, Fillmore's like, I guess I gotta go, bye. And then he's like, wait a minute, that communications report, Fillmore!
And that's where the episode ends.
This is one of my favorites. This is,
Yeah, this is like, of the three that we watched, this one right here is like my favorite one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say in between I forgot to ask you the thing I ask every episode for this whole podcast. In the first episode with the psychic, did you predict who was actually behind it at any point, or did you try to figure out who was the actual culprit?
Only halfway through. Like at the beginning, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be the psychic. But then when they were talking to the editorial kid, and he's like, he's too dumb. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Of course, it's gonna be this guy. This episode really didn't have that because we already knew who the perpetrators were.
It's one of those. It's like I said, criminal intent, law and order, criminal intent, where you know the bad guys, how catch them instead of a who done it. But yeah, fun episode. Undercover stories are always incredibly fucking fun. But before we get to that, Ben, you're a little goody two shoes in school. Were you ever in the Boy Scouts?
God no.
Oh well, I was.
Okay, dear listeners, Ben, you're a goody two shoes. You must have been in the Boy Scouts. Me? Fuck no. Matt, the fucking criminal in school. I was in the Boy Scouts. So you were, huh?
Maybe it was Eagle Scouts. I can't possibly fucking remember. It would have been whatever the equivalent in like third or fourth grade when you're a real tiny little kid. I didn't earn a single badge. I think I went to 2 meetings and then I said, fuck this. So I showed up at one point though. I don't remember a single lesson I learned. I remember it was a weird cabin, somewhere up in around where we live in Beechwood. But yeah, I was like, I went to at least 2 meetings. I didn't care, didn't like it, and I think I just took karate after that. My parents sent me up for karate instead. But yeah, It was a it was a fun experience, but I never really participated in it. Did you know anybody who was like actually in it, like continued on or anything like that?
I mean, hell. By the way, Eagle Scouts is not the one you did, and here's why. I actually have like a few friends that I hang out with even to this day, and they actually did do Eagle Scouts, which is like the really, really high ranking one. Like you were in the Boy Scouts for like all your life kind of thing.
Okay, I can't remember which one with the little.
No,
the
you're fine. The point wasn't correcting you wasn't the point. The point was like you were in the baby version one. I'm just like, they were actually Eagle Scouts. Like they were like high up on the chain thing. So yeah, I mean they did good and they're perfectly normal.
Yeah. Do you never went to any meetings or anything like that, or like?
Me? No, I had no. Well, no, they weren't anyone I grew up with, and I never actually even like I said, I didn't touch Boy Scouts. I didn't go to anything on that.
Okay. I was for some reason my parents signed me up for fucking everything and anything, and none of it stuck. Video games stuck is the only thing that I did after school for years. So like, yeah, do you ever did any of the candy selling things for school or anything like that?
Fundraisers for school, yeah, of course I did. Okay. I was in band and choir.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I was in both of those, and I don't think I ever sold anything anyway. I think I sold the candy myself probably. So yeah, as well, the Red Robins, Girl Scouts. Do you know anybody who was in the Girl Scouts growing up?
No, I did not know anyone personally who was in Girl Scouts.
Okay, I think my sister might have been when I was signed up for that bullshit I was in. She definitely sold cookies and shit at some point. But I was saying, what's your favorite Girl Scout cookies? And I swear to God, you better have no basic answer.
Okay, look. I have 3 favorites actually, and yes, they are tied for first, right? Yeah. I fucking love tagalongs.
Hell yeah, that's my number one.
Those are like the best of the best. But I also like Thin Mints as well, which I know everyone likes Thin Mints. Haha. We get the fucking joke. But because I like drinking tea, I like the trefoils, the shortbread cookies.
The trefoils are all right, yeah, but I will always go with the tagalongs. They're like kind of newer, but I fucking love those tagalongs. They're great.
Oh my god, yeah, they are, dude. Just that right amount of peanut butter, all chocolate coated and everything like that. Fucking yes.
I had I think some at my current facility. One of the people I work with, their daughter or something like that, currently did Girl Scouts, and so like they would always have a plug for fucking drug dealing. They'd be the person everyone went to get their cookies the entire time they were selling them at the hospital I work at. Now one of the doctors, I think, has another kid who does it, and they're our new plug for all that fucking stuff. And I love my tagalongs.
Now see,
I put an order in every time I go to work.
You had dealings like, hey man, here's the sign up sheet. No. Here in Bowling Green, there are a few tables with the girls out there with all the cookies out there, and they'll sell them right out in the open. So I didn't have to go secret drug deal. No, I just walk up and I'll be like, "Hey man, got the goods?"
Nah, man, you have it delivered to your job. You show up and you have 3 boxes in the damn closet ready for you to go. They're always out at those damn buns outside. That's great. I fucking love to. I have no idea when the hell the season is. It feels like it pops up on me every time. I have no idea
when
they're selling.
It's always spring.
Spring? Is that what it is? Okay.
It's always spring.
Yeah, I wish it was an easy way to get. Actually, you can probably order them from some factory, I'm sure. The other thing, obviously, to talk about is undercover movies where the person goes in too deep. Can you think of any ones that you've seen?
I probably know a few, but I know you know a few, and you probably will name some that I have actually seen.
I'll say 90% of the ones I've written down are actually just comedy movies that have this dumb premise, like White Chicks.
God
or
damn it!
House.
Of course, the first one you list is White Chicks.
Yeah, Big Mama's House, another stupid one with undercover. You see Corky Romano? Speaking of Girl Scouts.
Oh my god! Hey kids, you want some cookies?
Yeah, you guys want to buy some cookies?
Oh, dude, Corky Romano. What the fuck, man?
Oh, God, so stupid. On a serious one, Point Break. Have you seen that movie?
Point Break, I've heard of it. Haven't watched that one.
I assume you saw what's it called? The, fucking... What the hell? Which one is the one with the Greater Good for Edgar Wright movie with Simon Pegg? Hot Fuzz.
Oh, yeah, dude. You, Ed, and I watched that one together one time.
Yeah. Hot Fuzz, they have a big Point Break story. But of course, I mean, there's no talking about Undercover where things get too crazy and the person completely loses himself. And I already mentioned it early in the episode, kinda. It's all about family. And I gotta say,
I'm sorry. Can you say that without the accent?
It's all about family.
Are you talking about one of the fucking Fast and Furious movies?
I'm talking about the original Fast and Furious. Brian is a police officer going undercover to stop these racers who are having some kind of war, stealing combination DVD VHS machines from truckers who are threatening to start killing the racers. That is the plot to the original Fast and Furious.
And this is one of the reasons why I don't know why, but this is the movie that made me say, you know what? No, I don't want to watch this series anymore.
It's fantastic. But yeah, the original movie, like I said, Brian was an undercover cop. He became a racer, and then, of course, it became all about family. And now, 12 movies later, he's... unfortunately, Brian's passed away, but the story's continued on as they are now pseudo-cops and international superheroes doing crazy shit with cars all the time.
What was the one that you, Ed, and I watched, and every time they said something about family, you and him, Mi Familia, and Drake. Like, you, Chris, Ed, and I watched one of them.
I mean, who knows? It literally could have been any of them.
Oh, wait, no, that doesn't help either. I was going to say it was the one where they dropped the car from a plane into the building. But that doesn't really help out.
That does not.
Yeah, it does not narrow it down, unfortunately. I think it might have been like I don't fucking know, maybe like the 9th one or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway,
it was probably 8 or 9. Who knows?
Either way,
fucking family. It's all about undercover family. Another that was mainly I was talking about undercover movies. So, can you think of any on your end?
Surprisingly enough, I really am drawing a blank on this.
Okay, there's a shit ton of shows and movies about this kind of subject matter. Like I was gonna say, there's I forgot what the hell the name of the show was. It was some shitty show on G4 that was like a cop show, and they would like go undercover every episode to do some stupid thing, but it was just an excuse for the actors to like get in dumb costumes and be some weird characters to solve a crime. It was a very stupid show, but
it was G4. There was a lot that were dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb, but it was trying to be serious, I think. That's a fun genre, the undercover cop movies, and I'm glad that they did it very well. Was there any like inkling that you thought that Ingrid was going to turn on them? Because this is the second time she almost betrayed the.
No, I knew she wasn't, because honestly, if episode 6 was the start of Fillmore having a new, it's like, dude, no, I knew Ingrid was going to stay.
Of course. That's the end of that. That's that catch. Also, one last minor thing before we go on to the next episode. Did the one line that her dad said, like, hey, you guys want some hamburgers? Do you know who voiced her father?
No, I don't.
Anthony Stewart Head.
Why do I know that name?
Have you seen Buffy, the Vampire Slayer?
No, but what character was he anyway?
Giles.
Okay, nope. Sorry. I was hoping you were going to say Angel, but... Nope.
No, that's David Boreanaz. I'm pretty sure that's what's the character later. But no. Anthony Stewart Head, who is Giles, who is the Watcher for Buffy, character who's been there in probably more episodes than Buffy herself. he played her father for that one random line that he had. But I was like, hey, Giles, hell yeah. Fucking great character in that show.
Beautiful.
This show has so many weird, random, one-off voice actors, it's not even funny. We didn't mention Kyle Gass and a bunch of people from the first episode. Every episode, like Frankie Muniz and Horatio Sands. Oh, yeah, I already mentioned Horatio Sands is the Vallejo. It's like there's so many characters, so many actors in this thing.
There really is, yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of which, let's get to the final episode in this little batch. Episode 6. Next stop.
Armageddon. Act 1. Bound for glory. You're going to have to take over for now. I have to go and do something quickly.
All right, you do that. Well, I'll say, once again, Fillmore is undercover with a Rasta accent because he loves doing those. He's meeting a plug for some waferitas. They are from Paraguay, and they are the perfect size for counterfeit quarters. The kid pulls away his very classic early aughts or late 90s zip-away pant leg to show that he has them lining the thing. And Fillmore, of course, licks his finger and runs it across the waferitas to see they're 100% pure. That's the show loves to do. He says, yeah, you can use these as counterfeit quarters that work perfectly well. Did they say, doesn't the school's charity, or doesn't all the school's donations for all the money spent on vending machines go to charity? And the guy's like, hey, the greatest charity is, of course, oneself, isn't it? And they say, well, too bad you're busted, Mon, as he says. And they bust the kid once again before he heads to Principal Folsom's B-Day party because they hear that she has a buttercream cake this year. He flees down a flight of stairs. Fillmore uses a mop bucket and a table to try to, scoot after the guy and catch him before he has a chance to escape. Folsom is giving a tearful speech about her party this year, about how much it means to her that they've done all this. They have the Glee Club doing their singing, and they wheel out the gigantic buttercream cake. Just as the kid flees into the cafeteria, Fillmore jumps on him, crashing into the giant cake. As he tastes it and says, buttercream. And this is, they say that the birthday committee was working on this for months. Vallejo, of course, is pissed this time. He says that they worked so hard on that and you destroyed it. And this birthday was an incredibly big deal because Folsom's birthday this year, there was a rumor that it started with a 4. So this is not the time to piss her off. They say that the club does not need this kind of heat at this point, Fillmore. So you are going to be put off the beat and you are going to be on convention duty. And he says, are you serious? They go to their desks as they're, catching up on the convention duty and what the hell they're going to have to be dealing with. As we see that Fillmore's pet fish, Thelonious, has passed away. Ingrid's one season, she says, Fillmore, I don't think he's going to be eating today. He says that he won him 3 years ago at a ping pong tournament. A ping pong ball game at a fair. He's kind of completely distraught over this. Ingrid says, hey, do you want to talk about it? And he says, no, we have a mission. Let's get over to our first convention is going to be a train convention. Let's just get over there. We don't have time for this.
And then we get to the train convention.
Yep, we see lots of elaborate train sets and costumes. We see people dressed up as clowns, people dressed up as conductors.
Yeah, and this is like a nice spread we got going on here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you played Pokemon Sword and Shield, right?
Yeah, I played Pokemon Sword and Shield.
You remember the Pokeball head guy?
Ball guy!
And all the
Ball guy!
Yeah, ball guy. They literally have a train version of that with a guy with a gigantic train on his head with actual
train head,
eyes.
Yeah. But now,
running around
Matt,
his horn in people's faces. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Mr. Tony Stark looking motherfucker coming in here?
Oh yeah, they start going into the let's see, what did I say? There's elaborate train sets. They see them enter, and we see that Oscar. This is his fifth. He's a 5th gen track layer. We see two exposition kids come up and start talking to him about talking to Ingrid and Fillmore about this kid. Yeah, he's like, oh man, these trains are he's a train celebrity. Everyone loves Oscar. He's the best. He's about to reveal a trainomorphosis. This will finally blast those damn remote control car people off the map. As he kind of was giving his speech. We see that it is an entire, huge, elaborate town with a train set going throughout the entire course of it. The two kids, a kid with glasses and a female kid with brown hair, kind of giving exposition continue to Fillmore and Ingrid. They say that, a few years ago, Oscar took himself out of the tournament to give people another chance since he's been winning so much. He now just, blows everybody's mind with these incredibly lavish production stunts to support his family's company. As they're saying, they're showing it going around. You see a random kid, the random screaming guy from the Avatar Kyoshi Island episode. It's just oh my god, yes.
Wait,
Oscar!
That was him?
That was a random kid in the audience who says.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was the same voice. I'd be like, I would have been
that'd be hilarious.
That's weird, but that would have been hilarious. But yeah, and then of course, there's a
bit where they say. There was a bit where they say that they're like, hey, remote control cars, they think that they're the future. I say, no way, as we see the train hit a yellow car and knock it away. But they think they're so futuristic just because we see this nerdy kid who's they think they're so futuristic because their cars don't run on tracks. I don't run on a track. Am I futuristic? And he kind of just walks away and kind of ignore him. This weird
right. But then, of course, this kid going through this elaborate thing is like, hey, so I got some bad news, guys. This is going to be my last convention because I'm going to be moving. And everyone's like, boo, no. Giant train man guy is like hugging him, like sad dudes. They're like, no, don't do it. He's like, guys, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry. I may be leaving now, but at least we can make this a wonderful memory. So let this convention begin. And everyone
convention sponsored by the Guerrero train store. And
yes.
Film was like, let me guess, Oscar Guerrero. Yeah, okay.
And then of course we, everyone's starting their trains and everything. And I forget what's this girl's name.
She doesn't get a name for a while, but I just wrote the female exposition kid. Begins to set her train to go, and it suddenly goes off the rails. And suddenly, absolute chaos erupts. The train starts flying, hits another one. Big giant water tower falls over. A whole set gets knocked over by the train man. It's just like there's like floods and all kinds of stuff. The hot dog cart gets knocked over and utterly floods the entirety of the entire convention center. It's just a huge comedic disaster.
Now, listeners, I need you to understand something, okay? Because some of you might have had model trains growing up. I don't know. But a single model train flew off the rails, okay? It's a model train. It flies off. It falls down. Nothing big, nothing crazy, right? A single model train fell off, and all of this happened.
Yep, and it's utter chaos, destruction everywhere.
So we cut to some kid, some plane. Like, huh?
Yeah, we see a plane flying around saying, oh, the train, oh, the humanity. It's the biggest disaster of a convention circuit ever to happen. There's trains screwed everywhere. There's destruction deterrent. It's the worst thing you could imagine.
Weird exposition girl, runs over, no. And Vallejo's like, get that girl out of here. And of course, we see a line of train convention people with blankets, sitting outside as if like a fucking entire
actual train disaster.
Yeah, as if something really big happened, and everyone's sad and what the heck happened kind of thing, and they're getting hot cocoa and stuff, and then we see Ida. Ida appears. Yeah. I'm calling her Ida. I don't care. She's just Fuller is just she's just Ida.
Awesome.
Thank you. Look.
Hey, you know about like I said, this show I loved as a kid. So when she voiced Ida, I was like, oh hey, Folsom. She's Folsom in this show too.
Literally, Folsom is just a less whimsical Ida. She's just typecast. The voice actress is just typecast probably at this point, and she's like
they said she plays BoJack's mother, who's the worst, most evil character she's ever played. So yeah. And
of course she's like, wow, look at all this that happened. So here's my big question. Where were the two safety patrol committee people that were supposed to be on this? And Fillmore's like, look.
You're skipping over one of her best bits. She says, "Oh, Fillmore, where were you when this was going down? Were you ruining another event like you did with my birthday? How about you ruin my funeral next? Because this all these stuff you're doing is going me to an early grave."
Okay, you know what? Fair. We can't skip that one. That one was really good. And Fillmore's describing what's going on, and he's like, "I promise we're gonna get this guy." And she's like, "I don't want your promises. I want answers." Being the typical. Yep.
And Vallejo's like, what do you mean get this guy? It was an accident. And he's like, I don't think so. This was too insane. As O'Farrell enters to take some pictures, Fulmer's like, whoa, O'Farrell,
wait,
you may want to...
Actually, we forgot a very important thing, though. Before Folsom left, she's like, by the way, get this place cleaned up. We've got the Bavarian pretzel twist-off happening in 2 hours. Convention happening in 2 hours. Yeah, we forgot to mention that... I'm just sitting here. I'm like, you're rich when you have a convention for Bavarian pretzel twisting. What?
This school is just as infinite.
Meanwhile, we do go back to what you were about to describe.
Yep, O'Farrell's coming in to take pictures, and Fillmore stops him like, whoa, O'Farrell, you don't want to come in here. This is too crazy. He's like, Fillmore, I'm in the 7th grade. I can handle this, okay? And he goes, he's like, oh my God. Oh, he's just about to barf, and he runs out of the room because he can't handle the destruction. The rest of the team enter to examine the scene, and Fillmore tells them, look for any clues. I don't think this was an accident. Ingrid finds a remote control, a yellow remote control, and says, "Hey, look at this." She picks it up and sees it actually moves the track that caused the original disaster, the original train of fall that happened. That triggered all of this.
Yep, a good old yellow RC controller, and it controls the tracks. Dun dun dun.
And this is when we get to Act 2.
A saboteur.
Sought. They ask Oscar who built this main piece and what happened to it. He says each member of the team built different sections of it and they put it all together. That was the whole point of the tournament. The part with the controller was responsible by, well, the person responsible was Ralph Eddy. People like him are the reason that the hobby is dying. He takes a lot of shortcuts. He's just not really good and he's kind of sloppy. They ask, hey, is there a chance that this Ralph Eddy guy has a grudge? And Oscar says, no, he's just more of an idiot. He probably just fucked up something. Fillmore asks, well, what about this controller? And Oscar says, I don't know, it's not one of ours. And this is when O'Farrell shows up, and he says, hey, Fillmore, I got you. This is what I was doing. I was at the pet store. I didn't run off because I was sick. I was just getting you a new fish because you're the one that died. I got you a new fish. Yeah. Yep. Take notes, kids. Take notes, kids. This will not become a trend. And then, of course, Fillmore's like, Chow Yun.
Chow Yun, yes, of course, Chow Yun. And he's like, no, thanks, O'Farrell, but I don't need a new fish. Look, no one's going to replace the other one. Now, what can you tell me about this stuff over here? And he just gets sick again and runs away.
Yep. The reporter chimes in and says, oh, once again, the train manatee, this is terrible. And he kind of like grabs his helicopter and like, hey, man, do you have any actual like helpful thing to say? And he's like, he drops the axe and he's like, okay, look, man, these crappy train people think that they're so cool. That's obviously an RC controller. These train enthusiasts are so old fashioned. It's insane. Like the RC club is so much more like, you know, there's so much more futuristic. These people need to get with the times. This is a waste of time. And he says, like, okay, so who has a grudge against him? He's like, oh, well, all of our C Club has a grudge against them because they suck. This is when they go to the RC Club, where they are attacked, or Fillmore's attacked by a red car.
Okay. Here. This is what you forgot to mention. They go to the RC track, right? And they're standing in the middle of the track, not to the side of it. Yep. And that's when he starts getting chased by a freaking, well, he almost gets hit by a red like RC car, and he starts chasing it on the track, and there's like a whole chase going on, and Ingrid's like,
yeah, he's chasing the car. Ingrid says, I'm gonna find the driver. Yeah,
I'm gonna find the driver. By the way, he and like, you know, she's like, it goes to this, and finally the red car like flies off the track, and Ingrid's like, the guy's not driving it all like in public. He's hiding somewhere. And when they look under the car,
Fillmore, RE.
Yep, and we find out that sure enough, hiding in the bushes, it's the kid himself. He's just like, hey, you need to come with us. And rather than a chase scene, he just drops the remote and it's just like, okay, look, just so long as you don't tell people that I was here, all right? I do like RC better than, you know, these manual trains. It's just much better. It's so more intuitive and stuff.
Also, we forgot that this is the male exposition kid with glasses from earlier scene.
Correct. Yes, and of course, as they're questioning, like, you know, hey, hey, you know, just oh, so you're an RC person, but you had anything against the club? He's like, no, well, I mean, I had it out for someone. It's like, I didn't have anything. I just wanted to try both things, you know. What would you tell us about this? And he like goes down like what this remote control is like. He goes down to the detail.
It is a controller and wires for a Speedy Mite 2000. That's what was wired into the track, and they kind of say like, okay, well. He kind of like nods to Ingrid to check something out or to make a call to see if anybody knows where the Speedy Mite came from, as he kind of points to the fish like, so what's with the dead fish?
Yeah, right. And then of course Ingrid gets off the phone and she goes, hey, I called the person who like sells these, and no, he's clean. Apparently the only one they sold was to someone who's off the grid. Just came in, paid with cash, and then left.
Yep. Tahama says that she got the records for the train clubs, all their activity last year. and we find that another officer comes in. It's I forgot his name, Anza. Yeah, it's Anza comes in, and he says, "Hey, Fillmore, I got you a new goldfish because you're the one, you know." And Fillmore's like, "Give it to O'Farrell," and O'Farrell kind of takes these. "All right, thank you." Now he has a pair of goldfish.
And Ingrid's like, "Look, if you really want to talk about this," and Fillmore's like, "Nah, I'm fine. I got to focus on this case. We got to find out who's doing this." And of course, actually, and then of course they look through the files, and they find out that someone in the train, like in the train club, was trying to get the kid who they just interviewed. Interrogated, I should say, not interviewed. Try to get him kicked out like 7 different times.
Yep, we find out that it is Terra Octavia had filed to get Ralph kicked out of the team. They ask Vallejo, like, as they're leaving, Vallejo comes in and says, "Hey, Fillmore, he's like, oh, let me guess, a goldfish?" Actually,
he goes, "No, I got you 2 goldfish and a brownie."
And a brownie. Fillmore takes the brownie and walks past him as O'Farrell pops up again and says, "Oh, lay him on me."
Lay him on me.
And then, takes
Vallejo's like, "Hey, if you're not going to do anything about the fish, can you at least, if you're not going to get a new fish, can you at least, like, get him out of here? He's stinking up the place."
Yeah. Ingrid talks, takes to the carnival once again, and he's kind of saying, "Okay, so... there's a new carnival in town if you want to win a new fish," what she asked. BC says, "No, man, I'm not. Thelonious was incredibly special to me, and you can't just win him on a new game. We can't, I'm just not going to, I'm not going to replace him, so quit asking." They finally get to Tara's house, and they interview her, as she says, I tried to get Ralph kicked out. He put a freshwater salmon in a saltwater lake in display. And he also had these kind of conifer trees in a setting that was this kind of forest. And she's like, really pedantic reasons for wanting to get him kicked out of the team. And kind of like, okay. And then she mentions, like, "But I would never sabotage." And they're like, "Wait, we didn't mention sabotage." They say, like, "Wait a minute."
And
okay.
Yes, she
grabs
a wreath on them.
Yep, and flees, of course.
And and then we get to Act 3.
Act 3.
End of the line. We see her running. They're chasing her through like croquet. They're chasing her through like a pool with Marco Polo going on. With some really good acrobatics, not gonna lie. And then,
she's incredibly athletic.
And then a badminton net is what actually like thrashes her. So
they finally catch her, and she immediately confesses.
Well, confesses.
She confesses that she just wanted to get Ralph. Never meant anything else to happen. Not to torch the whole event. She apologizes. She's like, "Okay, yes, it was me. I did it. I wanted to get Ralph out. So yeah, I messed with the thermometer, okay?" And they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
He's like, "Look." She's like, "Look, I just wanted to mess with the thermometer thing. I forget what the exact reasons were, but that's all she wanted to do." And then she's like, they're like, "Wait a minute." And then they bring her back and look at the recording, and she's like covering her eyes, like, "Is it over now?"
Yep, she doesn't want to see the destruction again. They watch the tape of the accident, and she sees that she had nothing to do with the track going off course. She then says, like, "Wait, so you guys aren't gonna bust me for messing up the other thing?" And she's like, I'm gonna leave now.
I'm just gonna go.
I gotta glare at her like, "Get out of here." Ingrid has something for him. It's like, "Hey, Filmore, I have something for you, though, in the meantime." But before she can say what it is, Tahama enters saying, hey, Filmore, I got you a fish. And then he's kind of just like, O'Farrell is making a habit trail for all these fish now, like a big hamster display thing. And he says, "This is Chow Yun, and this is Chow Yun 2, and this is Chow Yun 3. This is like an email about the same thing."
And then Ingrid's like, "Look, no, I don't have a goldfish. Here," hands him a book that's called Young Grief. And she's like, "Look, seriously, just read this, all right?" And he starts reading it a little bit. It was like, I forget what each of the parts were. Like,
Ingrid says she picked it up. He says, "Okay, yeah, so there are many causes of grief. Broken toys, losing a pet, moving away." But as he's reading that, as soon as he says broken toys, we see Ingrid kind of like, "Wait a minute," and she kind of leaves. And he says, "Oh yeah, and look at this one, number 5, annoying partner," as he looks up and sees that she's already gone. But as she leaves, he continues to read, and he says a lot of really good advice, like one cannot say goodbye and move forward until they're, ready to. But the first step is saying goodbye, and that's how you're going to progress yourself and get better. Ingrid, in the meantime, calls him on the walkie-talkie just to say, that she's watching the tape again, and she sees that Oscar's display, the little car that got hit by the train when he was talking about how they're going to beat the RC people, was in fact a Speedy Mike.
Was exactly
2000.
The same car.
Yep, and of course, as always, I went back to the beginning of the episode, and yes, it is indeed. You see the word Speedy Mike 2000 on the side of the car.
And of course, they're like, Fillmore, wait a minute. Yeah, Fillmore's like, wait a minute. Yeah, you also mentioned something. The book also mentioned something, like moving away. I think I know who did it. So, They make a stop at a store.
Yeah, they go to Oscar's family store as they see that it is massively popular right now. There's a line out the door for people buying new train sets. And he's saying, oh, sorry, officers, it's been crazy busy now. And he says, like, hey, the guy says, I don't know, one of the people in the line says, you know what I'm going to do when you guys move? And Oscar's like, oh, did you hear? We're not going to have to move now since we're doing so well in sales. The officers finally confront him, and they say, wow, looks like that crazy event that happened was bad for the hobby, but great for your store, wasn't it? And then they can finally just directly accuse him of having rigged the whole crash to boost sales so he would not have to move. And then, of course, as always, he pulls down a giant banner on top of the City Patrol people and again attempts to flee, running along to one of those gigantic mall train ride-around things. Very funny. And that's the top of the train.
I can't believe this is a thing. But then, of course, the kid's like, yeah, you don't understand any of this that's going on. I needed this to happen. And of course, Fillmore is like, dude, you did everything for the wrong reason. And I mean, you got to be able to let go. You got to be able to say goodbye, man. You can't just sabotage someone just to make your own gains. And he gives a good moral and everything like that. But then of course he's like, oh well, then it's end of the line for you. Literally pulls a screw or something, disconnecting the front of the train with the entire rest of the train. And as he's like, ah ha 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 ha, he gets hit. He hits his head on a tunnel of teddy bears.
Yeah, there's a tunnel that the train's going to, and he doesn't see it behind him, and he gets knocked over. So they just kind of arrest him there. And of course, he gives another speech about moving on, and you can't just you got to prepare for life's going to change, and you can't just try to ignore it as best you can. As he kind of looks over and sees a new pet store, and he's kind of just like, oh, you know what, Ingrid, you take him in. I have something in business I got to take care of. And Ingrid's like, you know what, here's a coupon. I mean, she knew exactly what he was going to do. We see Vallejo says that they are going to be back on the beat, having solved the giant train massacre. So they're going to be back on their jobs. Folsom's happy about that. But O'Farrell, of course, as Fillmore's going to the water tank, we see O'Farrell has put all of the fish inside of the water cooler now. There's 7 of them. And he says, yeah, so my habit trail didn't really work out. It's just he's like a gigantic leaking mess with the inside of a kiddie pool. Ingrid tells him, hey, so the train club put out word about Oscar, so he'll never be able to, do training again. He's completely ruined no matter what city he goes to. And then Fillmore says, yeah, okay, well, I also got a new fish. And she says, oh, it's like a new black fish. Like, I thought it was time for a change. And she says, hey, so what are you going to name him? He's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll name him Chow Yun. And then we see O'Farrell be like, hey. And then it's like, or maybe just Miles.
Yeah, or maybe just Miles. And then we actually, that's where the episode ends.
Yep, that is the end of the episode. Now, this one, were you able to predict who was going to be the culprit?
Can I be honest with you? Yeah. Yes. For the very first time, my immediate suspicion was correct. I'm like, wow, that guy's acting like Tony Stark. It's going to be that guy, isn't it? And sure enough, it was.
He's probably the villain, isn't he? I was surprised when those 2 exposition kids actually became important. I thought for a second that weird nasal guy who was just like, tracks aren't cool. It was going to be like a bit, but he's the one who didn't come back in the episode. But yeah, very interesting episode. I like the train convention aspect of it. I've never been in one of those weird things, but I've been to other hobby stuff. But of course, I think we mentioned it before, maybe in one of the Primal episodes, something like that, Passed Away Pets. Have you ever gone through losing a pet?
Oh, hell yeah, I have. I've gone through... I think the only one that I can remember, because I've had many other pets, but they were mainly outdoor cats or outdoor things. But losing a pet, as in passed away or something like that. I'll tell you the details about it outside of the recording, but we did have to say goodbye to my first cat, Smokey.
Okay. Yeah, and like I've said, my job, I see several of these every night. It's always a horrible experience. I've been through it myself personally more than once, and it's never any easier. I know one of my sisters just lost her dog, who she's had as long as we've had our dog Bear. She was not doing well. She had a ton of things wrong with her, but she finally had to say goodbye to her, and she's been completely distraught for the past week about it. And I've seen people from my job, come through the hospital and leave like completely, utterly destroyed by this. This is an incredibly devastating thing, no matter what age you are. So I can't imagine as a kid having to go through that, especially when I was like, he mentioned earlier, we didn't really go over it, was with him back when he was a criminal and back when he didn't have any actual friends. He just had to fish with them, and that's why he was so like, against getting a replacement. But like, yeah, you shouldn't look at it like a replacement. What I always tell people whenever they say like, I'm never gonna have another pet at my job, I always tell them, hey, I said the same thing, but there are way too many animals that do need a home out there. All of mine are rescues. There's a shit ton of them that are just like sitting in kennels or sitting in shelters and stuff like that. If you can give them a better home and a better life, you're doing a good thing. It's not really replacing. You're not sustaining the memory of your past pet. It's just an important thing for moving forward. There's a lot of dogs and cats out there who still need homes, and you should, they help them if you can, if you still have all of, the capacity to.
Right.
It's an incredibly difficult thing to deal with. But it's an important, I love that they're teaching kids this lesson back in 2002 or whenever the hell this episode actually aired.
Right.
I don't think I definitely had not lost a pet at that point, because I don't think I've had an actual dedicated pet until like way after college. Actually, no. Graduating high school is when we got our first actual dogs that actually kept for a long time. But yeah, it's an incredibly it's an incredibly important lesson that I'm glad that they handled very appropriately.
Yeah, I've noticed that they've actually treat all of these very nicely. Like they treat them like, they're over the top. They try to take themselves seriously, even though they're absolutely silly. But it does actually teach you some really, really good shit, like this one right here.
Yeah, that's why I said grieving and moving on. Yeah, it's like losing a toy. That's minor thing, but losing a pet, moving away. All these are incredibly difficult things, and that's why I said this show's like the opposite of Metalocalypse.
Oh, absolutely. It is absolutely the opposite of
an
Metalocalypse.
Incredibly silly show about like the horrible stuff's happening, but it's an incredibly silly show, and this is an incredibly serious show with weird goofy stuff being what's actually happening in context. But yeah, I love the show. I love the tone of it. The other thing I wanted to talk about, we both have a shit ton of hobbies, both of us, but I don't know, have you been in any hobbies that have like actual strict real rivalries like the train people and the RC people did in this?
Dude, when I was growing up, I was literally in like the marching band, and all the rivalries we had were the other marching bands.
Yeah.
I have never been super deep in like a hobby to the point of like RC versus trains or anything like that. No, I have not.
Okay.
Have you?
Well, what about D&D compared to other game systems?
I mean, the only big air quote argument would have been Pathfinder versus D&D.
Yeah.
But at the time,
our group's not really contentious about it, but there are people online who are very divisive about this.
No, there's a lot of people who are in that. I don't really associate myself with those kind of arguments because honestly, if you like Pathfinder, you like Pathfinder. If you like D&D, pick a version. Whichever one. There's some good ones. There's some bad ones.
Oh yeah.
Like
I said, me and Ed always say in our heart that we still love 4E, but even though that's probably the most shit on one.
Yes. Oh my god. So many people, every time I say I started with 4th edition, every single person I've told that to was like, "Oh, I am so sorry for you." I'm like, well, we all have to start somewhere, right?
Hey, I love that game. I love that version. I want
to
see if I can find it again.
Yeah, I don't mean that.
People. Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just like, we all had to start somewhere, and for me, it was 4th edition.
Yeah, I know that. Well, obviously, I'm once again, I'm recording in my office where I have a shit ton of fucking Warhammer stuff. Warhammer to other war games is obviously it's the most popular one, but it's contentious in how they do stuff. But actually, inside of Warhammer, I vastly prefer Age of Sigmar, and I don't know if you know the context of how Age of Sigmar is what replaced Warhammer Fantasy and that whole universe. Like, actually, in narrative context, it replaced that universe. And so there's so many Warhammer Fantasy people who absolutely still to this day despise Age of Sigmar, even though it's been like probably like 10, 12 years now, I think, since Age of Sigmar's been around. But people still so much prefer Warhammer Fantasy. It's like a huge rivalry. And then, of course, Fantasy and Age of Sigmar have to deal with 40k people who, that's the most number one popular thing, and they like, don't think shit about the Fantasy and Age of Sigmar people, even though their sales are probably just as good. There's a lot of like actual inner hobby rivalries. Have you ever been to like actually like the actual RC car, like the big giant display boards like that, or like the actual big tracks?
Nope.
Okay, there's a place out by us called Hobby Town, I believe. Yeah, Hobby Town, where there's a huge RC section in the back that like the entire back half of this huge warehouse-sized store is just RC track set up, and like every time I go there for any reason, no matter what time of day, there's always a shit ton of people doing RC racing on those things. It's so fucking funny.
Nice.
It's a fun hobby, but not for me. I prefer my overly expensive tiny plastic figures that I have to hand paint.
Well,
but here we are at the end of the episode. Now, there's a bit that I wanted to see if you how you felt about it. I was stealing this bit as a bit from another podcast, Versus Wolves, where like the hosts give each other like different shows or games or movies or something like that to play between episodes. Now, we've been doing it lightly with Metalocalypse and like you asked me new metal things I listened to. What I would like to do is a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more involved, and it's not going to really be like a full review thing, but what if I wanted you to like watch a random episode of a procedural cop show, of either any episode, or I can give you a specific episode if you wanted.
Well,
before the next Filmore episode, but then I was gonna have you tell me a specific entire metal album you wanted me to listen to before the next Metalocalypse episode. Like I said, it's a little bit more homeworky, but
that's fine. That's fine. But if you're gonna choose an episode for me, you're gonna have to stick with Amazon Prime because that's the only streaming thing I have.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say if I'm not gonna give you a specific episode, I was probably just gonna say like watch the first episode of like Monk or Hannibal or Lucifer or Psych or something like that. Just like watch like one episode of those. I don't know if the Law and Orders are on there. I probably would give one of those as well, maybe. But like yeah. I can give you a show to watch one episode of, and you can give me a specific album that you'd want me to listen to.
All right,
we'll figure it out.
All right, yeah, no, we'll try that out. Do you want to start that now, or do you want to start that in our next Metalocalypse thing?
I'll see if you want to do it. If you can, I'll obviously we're not gonna have time right now for you to pick an album for me to listen to, but you can get back to me on our own time on our Discord.
What? Oh, I mean, there is that too. I was thinking like. You give me the episode now, and then when we do our next recording, I can just start then, kind of thing. Or do you want to do it like every episode type thing?
I say we can figure it out off podcast, and then we can at the beginning of the episode, if we decide to stick with it, we can have you just say like, "Hey, yeah, I watched this episode. It's what I thought about it." Before we go to the actual episode, because like I said, not a full ass review, but just some more expanding of the media diet for each other.
Fair enough.
I like
this.
Just on our own time.
I like this. Yeah.
Right.
We'll discuss it off thing. But speaking of off thing, I do not have any plugs whatsoever. You, on the other hand, I know you have plenty of plugs. So
yeah. Of course. Matthew Liz Podcasts. Check it out everywhere. Matthew Liz Podcasts on YouTube, on Twitch, on Blue Sky, on Patreon. Listen to old episodes of this Action Toon Bros. There's a shit ton of episodes, a shit ton of movies. There's the RSS feed. I think it's just Action Bros, possibly on the RSS feed, or just Google Action Toon Bros podcast, and you'll find it on any kind of podcast app now. Movie Garbage is also on the same feed. Listen to old episodes of Movie Garbage. Buy my book, of course, The Forgotten Minotaur King. Pick up that, listen to the podcast of that as well, rate and review. As always, I've been saying for probably over a year now, other projects in the works, but who knows? They're too difficult to keep track of. This stuff takes up all my time already. So we will think about it. We'll figure out what we're going to do. I would love to try to drag this out for another minute so we can get the fucking, be exactly at 1 hour, 40 minutes. So,
well, either way, yeah, that's something we can discuss on the off chance. But unfortunately, we're not going to drag this out for a minute. So,
it's only about 20 seconds now. Fuck it. It's the uneven number. Annoy people.
Yeah, well...
All right, so from us here at I'm going to say at Movie Garbage.
At Movie Garbage.
At Action Toon Bros.
Keep it sleazy. Oh.
Keep it sleazy. I don't know which one I'm saying anymore. It's too hot. I don't know which thing is for which show anymore. Bye.